Enthusiasm is the best paid skill all over the world. There are, of course, people they love to sit somewhere in a cave, somewhere in an office, working with computers and with machines. They don't want to speak with people. This is definitely not a salesman.
If you want to do sales successfully, what do you think are like the most important aspects?
Selling has a lot to do with...
With 26 years in sales, Andy is a dynamic expert who's trained global talent at IBM's sales school.
Always evolving, he's on a mission to transform from top tier to world class.
I have found the Swedish people as intellectual curious, analytic thinkers, deep learners, self-reflecting, and what I particularly noticed...
Hello, Andy. Great to have you with us today.
Hello, Pascal. Thank you for your time. Appreciate speaking with you online.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. And you're calling in from Switzerland, right? Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Nice, cool. Well, we want to talk about sales advisory today with you. You are an expert on the topic. But before we start off and go deeper, I'd like to ask you, Andy, who are you? I think you've worked at IBM for 30 years, worked different positions. So maybe to start off, can you tell us something about you?
Yes. I have been a passionate salesman in information technology with applied and practical experience for the, let's say, past 26 years. So I'm a sales professional, and sometimes even I call myself a sales junkie. So I love enjoying engaging with customers, which is a central tenet of my sales career. So for me, selling is about offering solutions, products, services that enhance the quality of life for both individual persons and companies. And as you mentioned, I spent almost 30 years at IBM. 2 years as a sales manager in a data center company, and now at a, let's say, medium-sized IT provider as a sales account manager, responsible for a few really, I can say, well-known and famous clients. And new are ones constantly being added. And yes, during my time at IBM, I was also a sales advisor, a coach for new employees who wanted to go in a sales job.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so maybe let's zero in on the sales advisory. You mentioned you are or were a sales advisor at IBM. So can you tell us what is a sales advisor and how did you get to work as a sales advisor at a multinational company like IBM in the first place?
Yeah, first of all, I really have to say, and I have seen and experienced many other large IT providers, no other global international IT companies built up and developed such a successful and sophisticated sales school over the decades. So IBM had a separate department just for it, and it's called GSS, in short, Global Sales School. And the company has mainly worked with external advisors. Most of them were retired and working for GSS on a mandate. And in 2010, onwards, IBM has been looking for internal active salespeople who would be willing to work alongside, on top of a sales job as a sales advisor. That means 3 or 4 times a week per year. And that was
you
still
were
funny.
One of them.
And I was one of them. And that was still funny. And an HR employee who approached me in our garderobe and sports dressing room at the head office in Zurich. It was my custom to have my joggings time on a regular basis, 2 or 3 times a week. And he asked me if I would be willing to do a sales advisor to join GSS.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. GSS, Global Sales School. Why do you think was IBM or still is so successful with their sales school? You know, is there any secret recipe that they have?
Yeah, they cultivated over decades. So IBM was the one and only IT company which was successful 15, 60 years ago. So IBM is more than 110 years old. And they started from the very beginning, and they were also always refining and developing, and they had changed their education roles and all this stuff, and they are also successful because of the high quality of the sales advisor, of course.
Mm-hmm. And maybe just to harken back to this question, so what is a sales advisor in the first place? So can you quickly summarize for us?
So I would say a sales advisor, or let's say it that way. IBM created entire stories, backgrounds from various industries, from practice, which then extended to a whole week. So very clear scripts and pictures, scenarios, customer situation. They were then developed for the student and also for the sales advisor. I always get a guide for the sales advisor. Overall topics a week, such feed the pipeline, negotiation to win, creative, distinctive experience, lead client success, demonstrate unique value. These were topics over the weeks. And as a salesperson, you want to win a customer from a certain industry, financing, telecommunication, grocery. You see the customer first time, CIO, the CMO, then perhaps the digital officers in the newest time. And you introduce yourself, determine requirements, define requirements, prepare offers, deal with objections was a big topic. Write up an offer and presentation. And the sales advisor play these various zeros throughout the week. And it's sometimes very challenging because the role was not only for the GSS challenging, but also for the sales advisor, because imagine you have to fit into different role again and again. You are a kind of an actor, at the same time a careful listener, note down your impressions during the weekend, and moreover afterwards you give a verbal feedback with a grade, and then last but not least fill out an assessment sheet and a general observation. And from 2016, I remember we were able to do that then online. So digitalization came in also in the sales queue.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, so what you were telling us is that you were also an instructor. So you trained people on becoming a sales advisor. That's what I'm hearing, right? And that's where these role plays come in, where you have to act almost like an actor and play some sort of role. So you were an instructor for 10 years, I think, right?
Yes, together with my colleagues, more or less external colleague, because it was very, very difficult for IBM to get such sales advisor who are doing that beyond the job. And I was usually completely, I can tell you, Pascal, exhausted after a week of GSS, but always deeply satisfied, really happy. It was a healthy effort, because I could really give these young people something for life. Selling also has a lot to do with personality development. That was the reason why I did it for so long time, with a nice, valuable side effect of dealing with so many people from so many different cultures.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you get to meet many people all over the world, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, and moreover, not only for the sales advisor, the training courses were also extremely demanding for the delegates, so for the students, for the master students, and GSS training course lasted at least 6 months for them, for the salespeople, and it was quite possible, that I had the same salespeople twice in a role play over the 6 months, within a year.
Yes, yeah, I see. Yeah, so I mean, as a sales advisor, you must know sales in and out. So my question would be, what is your secret sauce? Things that you came up with during your 10 years of experience. What is it that is really making up your success as a sales advisor and also as a salesperson in general?
Very simple. I was a perfect match. So mainly for two reasons. On the one hand, I really came from the field, as I said, and knew the current IBM services, products as an active salesperson. So I had to reach a target. At the same time, I also was aware about the challenges for young people in a large company like IBM, for new master students who wanted to pursue a sales career. And on the other hand, from the very beginning, I closely observed my colleagues who, as I said, who were mainly experienced external sales advisors. So I applied from the very beginning modeling of excellence. So my tip at this point is learning from the best, soak it up, and do it even better afterwards. So, in other words, in particular, I studied their didactic behaviors and strategies because there I did not yet had there the experience in order to imitate and apply them with my knowledge and experience. It was also about recognizing and adopting best practices, developing them further, refining them in order to achieve similar successes, and above all, better successes later on to provide my students with even more value add and assistance for their practical work. So these two things were my, I would say, a secret of success. So moreover, I had also a personal sales coach from 2014. This comes still into my mind till 2024. You remember, it is Mike. So, so this was the third secret of my success. So that I learned myself in this process.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's always important that we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, and then we learn from others, and we can then teach other people as well. But now you told us about your secrets as a sales advisor. When we go more general in terms of as a salesperson, what do you think are like the most important aspects? If you want to do sales successfully, what comes to mind? How do I have to go about to become a perfect salesperson, that can just sell everything to anyone?
Yeah. You must like people. You must love people. Yeah. Interlock with people, interlock with men, with women. So, and you need to be enthusiastic, exhausted. Yeah, I would say, because enthusiasm is the best paid skill all over the world. And I have met many salespeople, some of them older as me, who came from the competitors, who told me, I have 10, 15 years of sales experience. And when I had them then in the role plays, I had to say to myself, no, you have maybe 3 years of experience and have been doing everything the same for 12 years. No progress, no further trainings. That's why I said before, education and training is key. So it's like, as you know, as a sportsman in sport, there are standard situations again and again, new and recurring ones. You have to train, opening, need analysis as a sales, need assessments, objection handling, closing. It's all about the training. Ronaldo is the first one on the training pitch and the last to leave it. And that's what makes him so successful. Talent is one thing. I'm convinced about that. The training is even more important. This also applies to sales.
So what you're telling me is that sales is actually something anybody can learn. It's not that you are born a salesperson, like a successful one, but you can, if you know how and you are taught by the right people, you can actually learn it.
Yeah, in general, yes. But there are, of course, people who are very technical affine. Yeah, they love to sit somewhere in a cave, somewhere in an office, only working with computers and with machines and so on. They don't want to speak with people. So this is definitely not a salesman. So I had then and when technical people who wanted to be in a sales role, but you see it from the very beginning. So these are, let's say, nerds. Yeah. Don't like people, don't like to interlock with people. So, but I would say, it's about training. You can train that and you can learn that. Yeah, of course.
If you have some sort of level of outgoingness where you can talk to people, then it's probably, you have what it takes, and then you can learn and become a better salesperson. So, I mean, maybe now that you've worked with so many people and cultures all over the world also, I think you've been in Europe, Singapore, South Africa, Dubai, all these different places. So is there any culture or type of person that you would say is it comes more naturally to them being a salesperson because their culture is already more aligned with these let's say abilities that you need as a salesperson?
Very good question. I cannot say if it comes naturally, but I can't pin this down in general. But I have found the Swedish people as intellectual curious. So analytic thinkers, deep learners, self-reflecting. And what I particularly noticed is that they worked extremely well together in groups. So einer für alle, alle für einen. So one for all for one. This was really striking. I had two labs in Stockholm, and this is what comes in my mind. And I remember especially also the Turkish girls were also among the best sales students in my career, but also delegations, of course, from Germany, Austria, Switzerland, where critical questioning, which was good, also with critical questioning, which was good, mentally agile. At the same time, they were also always on time. And as side note, you can imagine, I also have to say that English-speaking countries like Ireland, I was in Dublin many times, South Africa, the UK, natural had the language for them
is an advantage.
Was absolutely an advantage.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a language advantage that you have. You also sometimes hear, as a layman like me, you hear that people from the US are really good at sales, and because they know how to talk, and English is really the global language. And the thing you brought up with the Turkish girls is really interesting. Maybe they really learned it from an early age on when they were working at the bazaars, and because at the bazaar maybe you have to be a good salesperson as well, because people just go there to see and not to buy, and then you have to be naturally good at this and make people want what you sell. So very interesting thoughts. But maybe one last question that I would like to ask you is, what would you tell someone who wants to become good at sales, who wants to be proficient at sales, the best, and not just one of the rest? So what would you tell that person who's only just starting,
Interlock with Andy Hughley and take a sales coach. No, this is be enthusiastic, be exhausted to working with people, listener. So you need to speak less, listen more. So it's not about to bubble or to speak the customer down. You need to listen first. And as I said, it's about training. There are hundreds of sales strategies. There are hundreds of sentences which you can address objective, and this can be learned. This can be trained. Yes.
Yeah. Great thoughts. So maybe to close off, so any good slogan you want to leave our listeners with, any good sales slogan that you say is really something that's following you or has been following you and that you want to share with listeners?
Yes. Do the right thing regardless how you feel in the moment. This is about discipline. The sales job is a discipline job. You can adapt that, especially in life. Do the right thing regardless how it feels in the moment. And second one, probably out of fear of going too far, we often don't go far enough, especially when it comes to the closing question. Yeah, salespeople are preparing, and they have now the customer. They have given the proposal, but they were fear to ask the closing question. So out of fear of going too far, we often don't go far enough. And the last one, to get there, you have to have been there before.
There already.
Yeah, it's also about preparation. Be prepared. even myself, I'm prepared at every sales call I'm doing. So if I have yesterday I had a prospect who is interested in our solution, I was prepared, for before the Teams call. I made some 3 or 4 slides, went the extra mile. Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, that's great pieces of advice. Yeah. Andy, thanks a lot for sharing your insights with us. Where can people follow you? LinkedIn, X, something else?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on X. I'm WhatsApp, whatever. I have also a personal homepage. Yeah, feel free to contact me. It's worthwhile.
What's the name of your homepage? What's the name?
Altosano Consulting Advisory. As you can see here, Altosano Advisory.
Altosano Advisory. Okay, interesting. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks a lot for your insights, and wish you a great week, and talk to you soon. Bye, Andy.
Thank you very much, Pascal. Let's rock.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye.